All right, so today we're talking about Gory. This game has been requested, and then I actually got paid to play the game on stream. And I'm here to make the review, and I have a couple good things to say about it, and I have a couple bad things to say about it. Let's actually jump into it. So Gory is a game based off Tokyo Ghoul. It is a parry-based game that you progress in with permadeath situations you can encounter, right? Now, let's go over the pros real quick, right? The fights can feel fun, in my opinion, later on, right, past the initial progression. I did have fun with my first weapon that gave me skills when I progressed far enough, and I think the PvP is the main appeal and carry of the game. The main appeal and carry of the game, I'll say that again. And then I think the raid boss models look cool and have pretty cool animations. You know, I think that's great. And yeah, besides those two things, right? Yeah, that's all really super crazy positive things I have to say about the game, because I think there's a lot of issues and a lot that they do wrong here. So let's actually break that down. All right. I think the early game is rough, really, really rough. I think for like the first hour or so in, right, just casually playing, I still had my base weapon, and I understand that people are going to be like, well, why don't you just go do like progression in PD servers, right? But for your average Joe, right, which again, this is what I'm basing my review around. For your average Joe, they're not really going to be engaging that, and it's not going to feel that great for them, right? It's not going to feel that great for them. I think it's going to be pretty awful for most people, especially in a game that has permadeath, right? And I'll get into that later. But since you can wipe as well, I do think it's a little bit problematic that the early game ends up feeling not very great for your average Joe, all right? I think that also the progression as a whole doesn't feel very engaging, and it does become very repetitive pretty quickly. And that's why you'll see, for example, like I was doing it on stream, you'll just eventually just go to like the best farming methods to get past the EXP part, because that is the boring part. That's the part that people really, really don't want to do. Like I was just fighting one of these NPC bosses through a wall just because, you know, it's the safest method to fight the NPCs, which again, we'll get into later on. Now, let's actually talk about the permadeath. I don't think really the permadeath fits at all here, right? I don't think the permadeath is needed whatsoever. At least it's not required for progression. That's a big plus, at least. You know, at least I think they did it in the right way, where it's like, okay, you can choose to progress without it, right? But it's, you know, slower, right? At least it's not like things are, you know, cut off if you don't do it, right? But I don't think it's very integrated well with any of the mechanics, and it really does feel like it's just been slapped on, and then if you do anything in PD, it just gives you 3 times the XP. I think that's a horrible way to implement PD, just me personally, right? And yeah, but like I said, I did see that there was like things called like PD survived, but I don't think you actually need to be in the permadeath servers to do that. You can do that by getting events, so that is one big plus. But I really feel like the game, you could remove the permadeath and nothing of value would be lost. If anything, people would probably mess with it a lot more. I also think there's a huge lack of polish, right? Multiple times I was playing the game, like, bro, there were just sound effects missing, like on the weapon. The last one I had, literally none of the sound effects were playing, right? Another example is like, I would be running, there's no like special material sound effect playing when you're like walking or running on something, right? There's no like jump sound effect, nothing like that. It's just all the base Roblox stuff, which I do think is a lack of polish, and I do think could be better. I also think that the map is very big and kind of empty, and unfortunately, there isn't a lot to do in it, unfortunately, right? There isn't just much to really work with there. I do think that if they condense the map, it would be a lot better of an experience to do those events, because when I'm trying to go do an event, right, to get event EXP, I feel like most of the time I'm just walking around. Nobody likes doing that. Like, let's get to the point. I want to fight. That's the fun part. Right now, I know I didn't list many pros, but that is I did have fun playing this game, and the fun was me PvPing. So the more we get to that faster, the better this game's gonna be. The walking in the big map, nobody fucks with that, bro. Let's be real. I don't like that at all. Next up, monetization. I'm not gonna lie. I know people have to make their bag, and I respect that, right? Even like clan or race rerolls, whatever, right? But hair and eye color rerolls, I hate that shit so much, bro, because I just want to be able to get like I just want to get a specific look, bro. Whatever, like abilities and all that stuff I can get fine, right? But dude, the drip, come on, man, dude. Like, let me get my hair color, bro. Like that, bro. Come on now, man. I think that also that the NPCs, I can understand the frustrations that players have with the NPCs. They can feel a little annoying to fight. I don't mind fighting them because they feel strong, but it can feel annoying at times when, like, I'm like, dude, how the hell they parry so quick? It's like, damn. But that one's a little bit more of a nitpick. But I think what really needs to go is NPCs getting health packs. I don't even understand why, bro. That is super annoying. The fact that they can get health packs, it's like, dog. Even the raid boss, like I was fighting like the owl, and the owl went from like literally 10% health. Someone died and went back up to 100. I'm like, what? Dude, are they fighting the bosses? No, what type of mechanic is this? And then speaking on the raid bosses, I feel like in the beginning, like I said that the raid bosses look cool, and they do have great animations. But I really wish that the raid bosses like would move around more in the actual fight itself. Like I feel like the looks are cool, but the actual gameplay is kind of lacking, right? Like the bosses, they are strong, but like you can definitely cheese them just by swapping out. That's what I did. First time fighting the bosses, and I did not die. These are 2 raid bosses. These are the hardest enemies to fight, and I didn't die. I literally had no issue because we were just swapping it out, and we would wait to get out of combat and heal to full, right? And I think it totally ruins the intensity of what should be a crazy difficult fight to win. Remember, this game strength is supposed to be the PvP, but having strong PvE is not a bad thing. But I think you're totally missing out on what could be a very cool fight that is completely lacked. Like I'm gonna keep it a buck. There is not that many good PvE moments in this game, but by at least having a couple there, bro, it's like they're missing out on a huge opportunity. I'd say biggest fix, just make it to where you can't heal when you're fighting raid bosses. However, remove the NPCs getting health packs, right, the raid bosses. And then B, maybe make them do a little bit less damage. And then make it where to like you actually have to learn the boss moveset he moves around. Now it actually feels like a proper raid boss. They have to spend time learning and time doing, and maybe make the rewards worth it. Make it less of a grind because of how much more difficult it might become. And I think that'll become a way better experience because the fun is not you grinding out a boss by cheesing it 100 times to get a rare drop. It'll be, I want to get the drops from this boss. The grind is learning the boss and getting good at the boss. You know what I'm saying? Like that, I feel like that'd be a way better gameplay experience. But overall, Gory, I just feel like is just lacking in a lot of compartments that could make it a lot more of a type soul sort of game, right? And now I know that sort of game isn't for everyone, and everyone does have, the games that they dislike and dislike. For example, what is it called? Eclipse doesn't like type soul, right? But why do I say this game sucks for the regular player? Because I feel like the regular player who would like this game would love type soul, and Gory is just nowhere close to being able to achieve that just yet. They got to fix a lot of things up. But like I said, the polish, man, dude, we were trying to do an event. This is the last thing I did before I stopped streaming, right? Where I'm waiting for my turn, and guess what? For some reason, freshies can still go and join the PvP events. What is going on? I'm like, why can't they be hit? And it's because they have the PvP protection shield. It's the small stuff like that that can ruin an experience. And it's just like, eventually you're just going to get it down to the point where the regular players are just not they're going to stop playing. It happened to Type Soul. Regular players stop playing Type Soul. And I think people are going to stop playing quicker if Gory doesn't get their shit together, bruh. I really think so. But like I said, I don't think it's all doom and gloom. I do not despise the game because I had fun fighting. I did have fun fighting. So get to that point faster. If they want to keep the PD, at least get to the fighting point faster, and hopefully the grind doesn't become as bad, because having a long grind, because I heard endgame is also just as rough as the beginning, which I haven't gone to. Bro, give the players the fun that they want, man. Dude, don't make me go through this PD wipe long grind BS to get to the fun parts, man. But it is what it is. That's all I have to say. Appreciate them for paying me though, but I did say I'd be very honest in my review video. And like I said, I don't want to see the game go completely to zero. I think it's good to have fun games that people can enjoy. Hey, if people fuck with it, that's great. But like I said, a lot missing. And I think it's pretty bad for the average player right now. That's gonna be all, guys, though. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see some change with it. Peace.